How to fly helicopter aerobatic maneuvers in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. As I record this, Stratoware and Miltech have released their BO-105 helicopter, famous internationally for its aerobatic capability. Rolls, loops, combinations, all these can be yours. And it comes down to this, the 105's solid titanium rotor hub, coupled to these 4 flexible blades. So let's hop into this capable machine and let me take you through some essential moves. Now, I'm not a certified flight instructor, please, so everything in here is for home simulator use only. Let me get you started with helicopter aerobatics and let's fly. Lovely Rotorcraft, New Zealand, with a single runway over there to the left and an apron area over here, which I can pretend is where the audience, the lucky audience for my amazing aerobatic display, is going to be sitting and standing. So that's what that looks like. And this is a real New Zealand aerobatic livery, and we have these smoke dispensers on the skids, and you can do this in the walk around view by left clicking and right clicking on these smoke dispensers, or you can use the BO-105 EFB app and choose the color you want. So I'm going to put blue and blue on. Honestly, the colors are not terribly strong, but anyway, we know that the smoke is loaded, so I can use that later. Alright, so here we are, just starting a takeoff run here. We've got about 10 or 12 knots coming from, I think, about my 1 o'clock right now. I've got real world weather on. I do like having a bit of cloud in the sky. It's just going to help a little bit with your situational awareness when you're going over the top. So I find that helpful. Now I want to talk about something else here, just some basic helicopter aerodynamics. So I've got everything stable now, and you can check that with both the input viewer and the overhead camera I've got going down there. And want to show you what happens when I keep all the controls steady but I lift collective. Lifting collective, nose goes up and yours to the right. Okay, now I'm going to put it back to where it was. It's just a force of the way helicopters work when you add collective pitch, when the blade is anti-clockwise, like in the BO-105. I lower collective, and it sort of catches itself a bit there as it gathers speed, but the nose goes down, we roll a bit to the left, and we yaw to the left. So that's all as expected. So why this is useful to bear in mind when we're doing our aerobatics is that when we're inverted in our incredible display, we are going to be lowering our collective for that. So what's going to happen when we pull out of the bottom of our loop, let's say, pulling the collective up is going to both send the nose to the right, so we need to be ready to put in left pedal, but it's also going to help us to lift the nose up for the last portion of getting out of that loop. So just good to understand what that inherent helicopter aerodynamic force is going to do during your display routine. So let's try a simple roll here, just following the runway length here, and there's 100 knots. That's about where we want to enter the roll. So to enter it, we're going to pitch up slightly, and we're going to roll to the left. Then when we're getting over like this, we're lowering the collective, pushing it around, coming out of it, pulling up the nose then. I think we lost about 100 feet there, so not too bad. Pulling up the collective helps to arrest that decline, so that's good. So that wasn't too bad of a roll. Now let's just reposition it and come around and we'll do one more. So we're at 1,200 feet. We've got 100 knots on. We lift the nose. We enter the turn. We go all the way over. We lower the collective now, and we pull the collective up again, and left pedal is required. I lost 40 knots of speed there. Lost quite a bit more speed than maybe what I anticipated, and the height was largely the same, and I sort of drifted over off to the side of the runway more than I wanted to, but that's not bad. So what you want to do here is just practice a few more of these, just with the goal of keeping your position and your height in close relation to where you started from. Now notice also that I'm not throwing the stick over, I'm just doing a smooth roll all the way to the left, so nose up, smooth roll all the way to the left, collective down, or over we go, collective up, and remember, lifting the collective brought the nose over to the right, so I didn't need to add in quite as much left pedal as what I did, but I let the collective bring the nose around. So I sort of rescued that and made it a bit better than how I set it up. Okay, so those were 3 rolls. Let's do a loop now. And for this one, let's just keep an eye on everything here. 100 knots is our entry speed. We've got 1,200 feet on the altimeter. Our vertical speed is 0. Here we are in front of our lucky crowd. And all I'm going to do is pull back, all the way back, all the way back. Down on the collective now. Pulling all the way up. Well, back to where I was, and I've lost a couple of 100 feet there, and we're recovering the speed now. One more loop. I'm slightly higher and faster than I was last time, 110 knots this time, so we're going to smoothly go all the way back on the stick. Down with the collective. I needed a bit of left pedal there, and I've just rolled it a bit, but it's going to recover itself there just as I lift up the nose. We lost a couple of 100 feet again, and lost most of the speed. Other displays I've seen tend not to lose quite that much speed, so if you want to comment on what you think I could do better to execute that roll. I mean, I am using full aft stick, and we don't normally do it at super high speeds because that'll subject the helicopter to higher G-forces, which is actually not required when you're doing helicopter aerobatics. 1,100 feet, 1,200 feet and 90 knots for our third one. We pull up all the way. A little bit of left pedal required perhaps, all the way back, and just rolling that to fix that a little bit, and pulling the collective, brings our nose up. We're pointing in the same direction, still ended up 40 knots, and we actually somehow gained height there. Oh, but probably because I've pulled more collective and I didn't really have my nose down on the exit there, so maybe not the best move there. Okay, so let's try a combination. Now this is going to be a half roll followed by a half loop, and that is a split S. A split S, we lose height. So I'm starting this one a little bit higher. I'm at 1,400 feet now. I've got 90 knots on, so pulling a little bit more collective, keeping that nose down. Don't want that speed to go anywhere. So that's looking pretty good now. 100 knots, 1,450 feet. I think I'm reasonably well set up for that going into the wind as well. So to do our rolls the same as before, we lift the nose, we roll all the way to the left, we lower the collective when we're inverted, and we pull the cyclic to execute the loop all the way, bringing the collective up as we come back around. I was a little bit late on the collective and I didn't quite have myself ready on the pedals there, so that could have been a bit neater, but it wasn't too bad. Alright, second split S, a little bit low and slow, 90 and 1,400 feet. Roll, collective down, pull that cyclic along the runway there, lifting the collective a bit earlier this time, getting a bit of speed up on the way back through. I needed to do a bit of practice evidently on just getting the pedal timing exactly right there to make it nice and smooth on the way out, but we did it and I've already recovered that height. Now, the other kind of combination here is a half loop followed by a half roll. So we gain height, and that one's called an Immelmann. I have not actually really successfully got that happening with this BO-105. I'll be interested to know what your experience is. So we are at 1,000 feet, got 100 knots on. I'm going to pull back here. We're going to invert, going to pull away there, bring the nose around, and yes, this kind of thing happens here. So I think we lose too much speed, which is expected in the Immelmann, and then the nose doesn't quite do what you want it to do. It sort of loses its flow across the rotor disc. So if you've got a comment on how to better perform an Immelmann in the BO-105, I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. Well, here's another one. This is a hammerhead where we use our pedals, and what we're going to do is rise up vertically until our vertical speed is at 0. So watch the vertical speed here, and then we go left over with the pedal. So we look out to the side there. There's our vertical climb, and at 2,000, 1,000, there's 0. Left with the pedal, right to arrest that, and then pull out of it there. I could have maybe dared to go a little bit faster down, but you're playing with your life there. Okay, one more hammerhead with a very fast entry speed this time, so we should climb up lots here. Keep an eye out to the side there till we're vertical now. 2,000, 1,000, oh, 0 already. Left on the pedal, right to arrest it, and then That was a little bit dicey. Probably started that one a bit low. And then it's up to you. You can invent your own things here. So we can just put it all together. We could do our little nose up here to roll over, down with the collective, pull to complete our split S. Here comes the collective coming back in, gathering speed there. Now we can combine that with a hammerhead, which is already happening. So down, left, and pulling here. I wasn't ready with the right pedal to pull out of that. And we could come in here and do a little quick stop to help receive the adulation here from the audience. Alright, so there's our quick stop. Take a bow. Down, up. You're welcome, and I'll pirouette away over here. Yes, it has been a lot of fun learning this, and I hope this has been helpful to you within the confines of flying in 2D, talking to you at the same time, and trying to get the Sky Dolly replay to line up properly with the weather, the smoke, and the chase plane cameras. Oh my god, this has been a lot. And if you're hungry for more MSFS helicopter content, please subscribe. There is so much more here. Hope I'll catch you again real soon. See ya.